Welcome to the Early Night Show with Anvay Pramanik.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Anvay Pramanik's Early Night Show. Tonight, we're gonna keep it a little free flowing, non topic based ramblings of a man who's got a fever and has just had a belly full of food. So I'm going to use this podcast to kind of reflect on the things that I've been up to and use it as a premise to build tomorrow's podcast. I haven't watched the last two Formula One races, and that's really irritating me because I haven't watched the Tuscan Grand Prix and I haven't even watched the Russian Grand Prix yet. Big bummers. But at the same time, I understand it's because this year's Formula One season isn't as exciting. It's very predictable. And I've taken to watching MotoGP instead. Today, so MotoGP also I have to watch from the last three races. So I've been really behind on my motorsports watching this month, you could say. Apart from that, tomorrow at work, we're going to be implementing a big process thing that myself and my CEO have been working on for a while. So that's going to be something massive, something big that we're all really looking forward to. And it's pretty much to help take the functionings of our agency to the next level. That's what we want to do. And I've got my fingers crossed. I really hope that happens. Because, it's like it would really make me feel like I've completed another massive big step in this organization, which I really want to do. So apart from that, today I have we made a lot of pizzas at home. We got an oven recently, and today, just now, I told you my belly is full of food. I had pepperoni pizza, corn and mushroom pizza. There's nothing like making it in your own home. For $1,000, we've probably made 6-7 pizzas so far. And they're all fucking delicious. 3 of us eaten 7 pizzas so far. So that's great. I mean, pizza is life. Pizza is love. Pizza is life, especially if it's made well. See, the thing with pizza is it needs to be made with love. And here's what I mean by that. A lot of these shops, when you order pizza, right? Here's how they do it. So they'll put the pizza, they'll put the base, they'll put the red sauce, they'll put the whatever topping, and they'll put the cheese, and they'll just immediately dump it into the oven. Now, the moment they see the cheese is melted on top, they'll pull out the pizza and they're like, wow, okay, pizza is ready. But that's not ideally how pizza should be made. You should first make sure that you have a crust or a base that you know is going to get crusted by the time your ingredients cook as well. Otherwise, your ingredients are going to cook and your base is going to be raw. Excuse me. So it's very important that the people who are cooking pizza, they know this. That's why wood-fired pizza on a sourdough base is always going to come out nice because it's cooked with love. They know that this sourdough base is going to take exactly this much time. The wood-fired oven, the brick oven, is going to help them cook it this fast, and the ingredients they have is going to take so much time. Now, the first 2 pizzas I made, the base was a little raw. One which we made right now, the base was so much better. So yeah, that's it. You've gotta first take the base, and if it's a thick base, you've got to beat it a little bit so the base starts getting it's yeasted, right? So you have to beat up the base, put the base on a chopping board and just tap it as if it were a drum. That'll start awakening the yeast, you could say, in the base. It'll start rising again. And the moment you do that, take sauce, or before that even, you take the toast, you take the bread, and you put it in the oven for a while. Make sure that the oven is obviously, as you know, preheated. But you take the bread, maybe you want to butter it up a little bit. Why? If you butter it up, like my friend Arup said, if you butter it up, it cooks very well through the inside and the outside gets a little crusty. So that's amazing. You want your pizza to be a little crusty, right? So you do that, put it in the oven for maybe 2-3 minutes, 3-4 minutes, pull it out once it's slightly crusted. Slightly, ever so slightly. It should not be coloring too much. Then you start putting the sauce, you put the ingredients, you put pepperoni, you put whatever. Fresh stuff, like you'll get that smell. Take cheese and like spread that cheese all over. Make sure it's mozzarella cheese. Some people like cheddar cheese. Some people like other feta cheese maybe. I like my plain old mozzarella. So take mozzarella, spread it all over, put it in the oven. Now when you put it in the oven, you've got to make sure that it's cooking from the bottom and it's cooking from the top. Because if you don't cook it from the top, so here's how it works, right? When you cook something from the bottom, then it starts cooking from the bottom, right? Like curries, gravies, etc. They always cook from the bottom up. The onions, the spices, etc. is the base that cooks. Those flavors go into the meat or the curry or the vegetables, and then that creates the curry. Whereas in a pizza, it's the opposite. You've got to put the heat from top so that the ingredients cook onto the base, right? So you've got to make sure that the heat in this, if your base is already cooked, you put it from the top. And when you start putting the heat from the top, oh my god, you'll see the cheese is cooking. Cheese will start bubbling. That's when you know it's cooking. The cheese will start bubbling and it'll become brownish. The edge of your pizza, the sauce there, you'll see it started caramelizing. It'll become like when you melt chocolate, that kind of glow, that it has shine, right? That's how it'll start becoming. That's when you know it's caramelizing. And the ingredients will start browning. It'll shrink maybe 30% in size. That's when you know your pizza is cooking. And then you'll see if you've got meat in it, the meat will start smoking. All the water vapor, the final water vapor will start going out. That's when you take the pizza and you spin it around. You move it around a little bit with your pizza holder or whatever. And then you put it back in. Wait for it to cook. You'll have to test it out, A/B test it, see if it's browning on the sides, look from the down, see if it's browning, see if the cheese is properly settled. It should not become black anywhere. That's when a pizza is overburnt. It becomes black. Brown is the final thing. So that's what we were experimenting with today. And the moment I step out of this room, there's going to be another slice of pizza waiting for me. That's great. Apart from that, what else have I been doing? I don't know. I think I was very lazy today and I kind of enjoyed my lazy day. I've really been putting into action that philosophy that I want to learn, like learning where to spend the energy. Today I didn't want to spend my energy anywhere, What did I learn? Something new today. I learned about pizzas. I realized that if I take a shower, so I usually use the shower as a space to, you could say press refresh on my day. It's like cleanse, detox the day. If I'm going into the shower with a lot of thoughts and I want to detox, I realized today I would ideally not like to play any music and I would like to have an agarbatti lit in the shower. That way my brain is getting influenced by the flavor of the agarbatti, but at the same time it's not getting cluttered by songs or anything like that. Whereas at the same time, if my brain is empty and I want some inspiration, I'm completely demotivated, then I listen to some music with the agarbatti. So I realized that like even instrumental music would have created a sort of clutter in my head. I needed to declutter, and when you need to declutter, you need to like remove every distraction. So that was great. Apart from that, one of the most. I remember reading this, hearing this in Rick and Morty. When Rick goes to that psychiatrist, psychologist, psychiatrist, therapist. I don't know, that Pickle Rick episode, right? So when he comes back finally, right, after an entire episode of trying to avoid it by becoming a pickle and all, the lady says to him, right, that Rick, you're someone who is so captivated by doing new things that if you had to get stuck in the having to maintain your life, having to check up your life, having to do daily inspections of your life, Rick, you would kill yourself or you would go into deep depression. You don't want to be in a moment of retrospection ever. You want to only be critical, analyze things, be vicarious, look at things from a very unempathetic point of view and pass your judgment on it. She says, right, that Rick, you will find maintaining things very boring. And I'm the same. Like I find maintaining things very boring. Like I love creating new things, but maintaining it, I find it very boring, which is where the self-disciplines, routines and all need to come in. Right? Like I love going and playing basketball, but maintaining the habit of continuously doing it, things like that. Like I love my body, but having to maintain it, get a shave, get a shower. Shower, I love getting a shave, trimming, working out, keeping fit, eating good. Those maintenance things I hate. I fucking hate. I wish I didn't have to maintain my body ever, but can't live life like that, right? Gotta maintain. So that's another thing I realized today, that I absolutely hate maintaining things. And I have to force myself to do it as much as I understand the importance of it. Or maybe I don't understand the importance of it yet. So I write, we all take our healths too seriously, too late, a bit too late. You know what? I want to tell you something. Like, if you really like someone, you should tell them you really like them. Nothing else. If you really like someone, you should just tell them, you know what, I fucking like you. And I want to take you out. And whoa, it's a good Elder Scrolls art. If you really like someone, you should just ask them out. You should make a plan, tell them, I want you to be part of this plan. If you are going to be part of this plan, we're going to probably end up having so much fun together. Just ask them out. It's difficult, but you should. I'm thinking what to do. I'm thinking about something, I'm thinking about how we are all so connected today, but we are all that much far away from each other, I'm just thinking. Like, ooh, I got a bunch of excuse me. Told you I'm sick today. For those people who might be asking, can you feel, taste, can you hear? I mean, the first symptoms of corona, I don't have any of those. It's not corona, it's the weather change, I'm sure of it. I'm not showing any of those symptoms, thank God. So yeah, like I was saying, I think we're all that much close, that much connected, but that far away from each other today. And it's something that I find annoying, partly because I wanted to selfishly help me get closer to other people, but at the same time, I feel like the whole point of humanity is to be close to each other. Like if you watch the Avatar movie, I fucking love their depiction of a society in that, right? It's about we're all responsible for one another. At the same time, we are not responsible for one another. It's very difficult to put it in words. I don't know how to put it in words. I mean, we all have to do things for ourselves so that at the end of the day, when we give or when we do, when we, end of the day, when we cook for ourselves, we can cook for everyone. And same with the other person. When they do 10x things in their day, they come back and we can all, like we all have enough at the end of the day to give to each other. It's like a potluck, right? It's like a big fucking table. Everyone comes and puts one thing, and they put enough of it so that at the end of the day, everyone can eat to their heart's content, and maybe there's enough food for more people as well. Apologies. I'm getting a lot of burps. I don't know why. So yeah, that's something I've realized, and I would like it. I would really would love to see someday, that we are all back connected. It would be great. Connected on a true core societal level. And that's something I remember that Auroville has a lot of, that societal, that communal feeling. It feels great in Auroville. Yeah. Apart from that, what else? I just saw the first half of the Tottenham Manu game. I'm not a big football guy, but for the first time, I saw a football match first half, and I saw Man United getting destroyed by Tottenham, and my flatmates are like completely losing their mind. So that was great. Seeing something interesting. This game looks amazing, Blasphemous. And that kind of brings me to the main meat of today's topic. Building on all the other things, I've just started playing another game called Blasphemous. I'll tell you the recent video game exploits that I'm having. Like, I love video games. For those people who don't know video games, TV shows, I love these media content. One second. Yeah, so basically, as I was saying, uh, it's crazy, right? The political situation we're all getting into. I mean, I don't want to talk about that at all because I have no expertise. But yeah, it's going mad. Now, I just finished the Mage's Quest again in Skyrim. Went well. I started playing this game called Scythe, which is a board game. I think I just spoke about it a while back. At the same time, I'm playing this amazing Metroidvania, Dark Souls, Castlevania inspired game called Blasphemous, which is an absolute mind fuck of a video game. In the sense, if you've played Dark Souls, you know that. So there's two kinds of video games that exist. One where they throw you into the world and they take you by through the story, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. And one where they throw you into a world and then they just keep throwing shit at you and you have no idea what the fuck's happening. And then as you start collecting the different chapters, you start putting them together. You're like, oh, this is chapter 1. Oh, this is chapter 7. Oh, this is chapter 99. Oh, there needs to be like 69 more chapters before this, which I have to piece together now. That's Blasphemous. And I'm going to talk a lot more about this in the next podcast, which is tomorrow's podcast, not today. But I just wanted to give brief insight into this Blasphemous thing because it's a mind fuck. It's amazing. For those of y'all who want a new video game to play, I would really recommend you try out Blasphemous. It's tough. It'll take you a lot of time to feel a lot of satisfaction from the game, but you will feel a lot of satisfaction from the game. Yes. Now, I'm wondering something, okay? Now, today, I wanted to do the podcast about Blasphemous. If you've stayed together so far, I will make myself vulnerable and talk to you about it. So, today I wanted to do the podcast about, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, Blasphemous, but I couldn't because it's very, the boys are enjoying a football game outside. And I do not want that Blasphemous podcast because it's going to be a very serious podcast, tomorrow's one. A very in depth, very hardcore podcast. So I need it to be in my space, quiet. So I'm waiting for it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. I almost didn't do a podcast today, getting demotivated, saying, what, like it's loud and shit. But I'm like, what podcast if I do right now? What podcast would I want to do? What do I want? Like, here's how I broke it down. What do I want to do right now? I want to record a podcast. What kind of podcast can I record right now? I can record a podcast based on the situation. What is the situation? It's kind of loud and I don't know if there's going to be too much noise. So I can probably not want to do a very serious hardcore podcast, but I want to do a podcast. So what kind of podcast can I do? If it's quiet, if it's loud, maybe something where I can be a little casual, candid, not have a topic, nothing serious, like the one I did so far, just giving an update on what I've been up to. So it's very important, like I have this as a philosophy to ask ourselves why we are doing what we are doing, because a lot of times I've realized I do things to impress people. And this is something I figured out from Mark Manson, where he said, he realized that he used to want to be a rock star because he wanted to gain the fame of being a musician on stage, being cheered at by millions of people. He didn't want to be a rock star. He didn't want to learn to play a guitar because he wanted to be good at playing a guitar, but because he wanted to be on stage winning a lot of, like, ooh, Mark Manson, you're great. Same with me. Like, I do that for like 90% of things. So now I realize that I don't care if anyone's listening to my podcast, I'll still do. I know there's 4, 5, 6, 7 people who listen to every single one of them. And I do it mainly for you guys. So thank you so much for staying so far. And pretty sure we're going to have a lot more people joining us soon. But that is the end game, right? Like, it's going to happen over time. I'll still keep doing it anyways. So today I did one. Tomorrow I'll do one. It's going to be amazing. Tomorrow's podcast is going to be fucking amazing. So make sure you join in. I'm going to end this one right here and let you all know that I want to see you tomorrow in this podcast. I want you to enjoy the topic that we have, and I also would love it if you maybe how do I say it? It would be awesome if when you came in tomorrow, you came in knowing that it's going to be a fucking insane podcast, which is going to be hardcore. So, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have an amazing time ahead. Have an amazing evening. It's a little early today. Have a fantastic evening. I'll see you soon in tomorrow's podcast. Good night. Bye-bye. Sayonara.